Good morning, everybody. It's Dylan here. I'm going to start off with roll call because Jarek couldn't attend today. Let me know if you're having any audio difficulties. Send me a PM. Okay, I'm going to go down the list. Kainat, Lauren, you were here. I see you in the chat. Carolus.
Here.
Yvette. Here. Gotcha. Yvette. Mariah. Melanie.
Here.
Maggie. Ricky. Ricky.
Here.
Gotcha. Ema. Ema. Sarah. Sarah.
Here.
Carolyn. Carolyn. Okay, gotcha. Sabrina? She's still getting on. She had an exam.
No, I'm
Karima?
here. I'm here
Oh,
now.
gotcha. Karima, can you, is your audio working now? At all?
Is my mic working or no?
Yours is working.
Okay, cool.
Karima, is yours working or no? Okay. Minar? No, we can't hear you, Karima. Okay, gotcha, Minar. Najir's not here. Harrison?
He's working and getting
Harrison's
into
trying to log in. Yeah.
Okay. And I'm guessing Will is here.
No, I'm not.
Oh, okay. You got it. Terrell? And Anna?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah, as they come in, I'll just mark it. So,
Hey Dylan, I'm here.
is that Kevin?
Yeah, that's Kevin.
Are you dialed in?
No, I'm in the actual thing. I didn't dial in.
Okay, all right. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I didn't finish yet. Abbas? Is Abbas here? Okay, Hema can hear us now. Abbas, are you there? He's logged in. Kevin's here. Hamza? Akwe?
Here.
Tananjit?
Here.
Okay, that's everyone. So, yeah, let's just begin the meeting. The first thing we have is the commencement committee. There's a lot of confusion around that. So, Sabrina, do you want to start talking about that?
Yeah. So we are, they reached out to get my availability. I just saw the email, so I haven't responded yet. I said that I was interested in it, and I also said that I would give names of anybody else who's interested. So I wanted to see from here if anybody is interested in serving on some sort of commencement committee. So you can feel free to say I if you are interested in the chat, or just here. Anna, you are.
I'm down.
You're down. Is that Dylan?
Yes.
Okay. Are you
I'm writing down the
graduating?
names.
You're not, but it's okay. That's fine. I'm down if I'm not
What
busy.
exactly is the role of this committee?
So figuring out. So you were in last minute, right, Melanie? You were in the last meeting. Did I say minute? You were in the last meeting, right? Or no?
Connection was kind of poor, so I kind of like got parts of it. But if you don't mind,
So in the
one, that's
beginning of the
fine.
meeting, we had someone from we had two people from the chancellor's office, Peter Englot and what was, oh my god, I'm forgetting her name. Does anyone else remember who else was at the meeting from the chancellor's office?
Brian.
Yeah, Irene O'Brien, right? Eileen or Irene?
Irene.
Yeah.
Irene.
Irene O'Brien. Yeah, that's the other person that was here. So I think Irene actually is the one who reached out about like times that I'm available to meet. So basically the committee, what we discussed last meeting is looking at ways that we can still honor people who are graduating on the date that the ceremony is supposed to happen. So what like an online or not like remote type of commencement would look like. And then on top of that, they did say that they're committed to rescheduling and having some sort of new date for us to do like an in-person commencement, because we talked about the importance of having one, being the makeup of our student community, and just the importance of commencement in general to people who are attending college and all of that. So they are committed to rescheduling it. So looking at like when is the optimal time to reschedule, and trying to figure out like what commencement is going to look like in general. So those two dates, both the May one that's going to honor everybody who's graduating this semester, and then also the rescheduled date.
Got it. Yeah. Okay. So I got everyone's names down. You're interested, just let me know. Again, there was like a lot of confusion around like the committee, like the status with it. But now, we'll get it going.
He's down as well. So just to, because I don't know that we're going to be able to have everybody. I'm not sure exactly yet, but I am going to give priority to people who are graduating this this spring. So obviously, because it affects you guys more. So yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense. Is there anything else you want to talk about that?
No, I mean, what we want to work on. So I had a meeting. I told you all I'm on like like New Jersey SGA committee
Right.
coalition. So we were talking. I'm on the commencement committee for the NJSGA coalition, and we had a meeting I think on Tuesday of last week, and we talked about like what other universities are doing. Seton Hall did like a really good like survey that they sent out to their senior class to try to figure out what they're looking for and certain dates that would work well for them, being that a lot of people are going on to graduate school and higher education. So I think that would be really good for like Rutgers to see, because we did an Instagram survey. We got a few responses. I think we got like 5 or 6, and then program board also posted it, and they only got like 2 responses. So obviously, it's not representative of the entire senior class. So I think drafting some sort of survey is super important. So that's something that I want to work on, but I think it's important to do that with the university itself as well. So it'll start once the committee meets. But right now I'm just trying to see like who else is interested in being on that committee. But that's
Melanie, were you a yes for that?
Like the details on what exactly the committee was going to.
Like, are you do you want me to put your name down as like interested or no?
Sure.
Okay, cool. I just wanted to make sure. So yeah, okay, I got everybody's names then. All right, cool. And Sabrina will reach out to you on that, and we can move on. So the next thing we have is the emergency fund and updates with that. So Sabrina, do you want to like take the floor with that?
what was that?
The emergency fund updates.
Oh, yeah. So I don't know if Dean Williams, if you have like a brief update that you can give. We still haven't received anything from like the care team and kind of how the funds have been utilized or anything like that. So
Sure. Let me just pull up that information. I just wanted to start off by saying, again, great job to you all as student leaders in really making this fun happen. It has been very busy with the number of students that we've had who reached out. So that's why in terms of the actual report has been a little bit delayed, because we are actively responding to all of the students who are coming in. But I do have some numbers that I am happy to share with you all right now. So as of this morning, we got an influx of students. Was something posted online, by the way, recently? Because we got an influx over the weekend.
I know they posted it on social media, like on their Instagram page, other than the email that we sent out.
So we have a total, as of this morning, 72 students who have
Wow, that's great.
out to receive the support. And so, as you can tell, we have quite a number of students, and it continues to kind of be a steady stream throughout the day. So, a lot of students are coming in and asking for things like utilities. They're asking for help with groceries, rent, health insurance, medical bills. Let's see what else we have here. Some of the students have indicated that they have holds on their account because they're unable to pay them down. So we're kind of working on that. So as of today, you all allocated $50,000 for the fund. We have awarded $40,000. So you have $10,000 remaining.
Wow, that's great.
So you all are doing really well in terms of awarding funds. And so I anticipate that by the end of this week, those funds will be depleted. So I wasn't sure if there was any additional funding that you all wanted to send. One thing that we did want to make sure, and as you're kind of corresponding with students around the fund, is that in order to expedite, it would be really important for students to have their what we call ACH, and that's essentially direct deposit set up. So if a student does not have direct deposit, it is important that they set that up. Otherwise, we're having to go back and forth with them and try to figure out how to get them a check in the mail. And it's just way easier if students can already have that set up. And there are instructions for how to do that on My Run.
Okay, yeah, I think as we continue to advertise this, we'll have to make a note. You should set up your direct deposit to get it a lot faster. But yeah, in terms of like more funding, I think we're making it optional for student orgs to donate any of their remaining funds, and then I'm assuming senators will also contribute to the fund as well. So we'll see some more funding.
Yeah, so in the last resolution that we passed, it does request that the Senate donate like the remaining, donate funds to the relief fund. So I think we were like I remember speaking with we were speaking about like, should we deplete all our funds or should we keep some for next year? So that was where the conversation was last left off. So I don't know if we should, if we want to start talking about this again and see what amount we want to send to the fund, because 40K are already down. There's a clear demand, and we need to make sure that our funds do not deplete too soon.
Dean, so that 40,000 that's been awarded, because we haven't received a report yet, what does that look like in terms of the number of people? Because it's split between $500 and $1,000 like increments. So how many people is that serving? Do you know?
So you all said as a part of your specs that you would only award a maximum of 1,000. And so in terms of the actual awards, it has been 1,000 for the SGA. Mind you, we're also supplementing some of the additional needs with other pools of money that have been allocated to the care team. So in terms of like other funds, there's the Chancellor Assistance Fund, there's a Hope Grant, there's a Student Emergency Fund where people can donate money, directly from like parents, families, community members. So, but you all have maximized 1,000. And just so you know how many people have actually been awarded, let me see.
Yes, I'm just curious if it's like 40 versus like 80, or like, the number in between somewhere, like where it's lying.
I'm sorry, say that again.
Like, I think like it's important to know if we're going to continue funding, like how we're going to continue funding it. If we know, like, because if we gave everyone 1,000, then it's 40 people. But if everyone got 500, then it's 80 people. So where in the middle is that number of like how many people are satisfied currently?
Let me see.
I think Dean Williams said it was 72 people, unless that's the amount of people that just applied.
Yeah, that's just applied.
Oh, okay.
You have awarded a total of 50 people.
Okay, that's great. So the average is leaning more towards 1,000 per person.
Yes.
By far. Okay, that's cool. Yeah. So okay, then we know that we need to put a lot more into it. I'm not sure if Kainat is here because
For
she
the
could.
Senate funds, didn't we say that we're gonna use a lot of it for the scholarships that we're gonna be giving out, since you guys, the e-board, spent a majority of it for the relief fund, or how is that gonna work?
Yeah, that is what we agreed on. But also,
Yeah.
taking into account that other organizations, there was an email that was sent out to other organizations as well
Mhm.
to contribute money towards it. And I know there's like people who were personally reaching out to me, like saying, "Oh, how does it work? Like, should we give money towards it? What is it going towards?" and stuff like that. So I think people are like interested in giving money towards that. I don't know exactly how much has been given yet. I know program board also was. I was talking to Bing the other day, and she was saying that they're doing it too. So I know that there's other sources that are going into it as well. I just don't know what's been committed.
So we have not received any additional sources other than student government. So, I mean, if program board was doing something, we have not received anything from them. We have also not received anything from student organizations. So, and OSL is tracking in terms of student orgs. They've been instructed on how to transfer the money. We have not received any transfers.
Okay, that's good to know.
Should
So
we also
I'll talk
send
with
them out
program
another
board.
email? Yeah.
Wait, but with
Because I know there was an
program
email
board,
sent out to student org, but maybe we could remind them that it's an opportunity for them to donate their money. That's
Yeah,
not
maybe if
they're
we
not
let them
using.
know like the demand
yes.
for
So
it, then yeah, they'll be more likely to contribute.
Yeah, like I was saying, like when orgs reached out to me when I was talking to like president, like I know MAPS president reached out to me. There was program board that I was talking to, and both of them were kind of like they didn't really know what it was for, or like what exactly like what's going on with it. So maybe just if we send something saying like this is what we set up just to student orgs, and seeing how they want to go about it. Another thing was they were asking like MAP specifically was asking if we give money now, is that gonna lessen the amount that is gonna get like our org next semester is gonna get? So talking about rollovers. So I think what we discussed is that it's all going to go back into the allocations board account. So if that is the case, I think orgs are also going to be more willing to give money now for students who need it now.
yeah, that was our understanding at first too. But like we're still trying to finalize the email, and like apparently like the money can still be rolled over to next semester. So we basically have to like see like what like student orgs are feeling, and by hearing by one anecdotal testimony that clearly like some orgs do feel like they want to keep the money that they have this semester. So, but we have to find, I guess, like the equilibrium between the two, because not every org is going to have like a huge influx of money, because they might have spent a lot of it during the semester and they didn't anticipate that our school and building would be closed. So yeah, so we definitely like, at least from the committee, we are definitely trying to figure that out. And we're also are planning to send information about the fund to student organizations along with the questionnaire. So yeah, that I think that might need some clarification too, because it could be that, like, it's better if it comes, I guess, from a peer than from someone else, I guess.
I just want to make sure for their tiers for next semester, they're getting the same amount that they got this semester, right? Is that what we decided? Or?
That's kind of what we've discussed. But like apparently there are orgs that feel like that they want to get tiered based on what they did this semester, and we just don't see a viability in that necessarily. But technically, all options are still on the table. We're not gonna strike anything down just yet. We're gonna I guess we gotta like see what what student orgs feel once we get some responses back from the questionnaire.
Okay.
But to go back, yeah, the concern when we were talking about like the senator money, like, oh, do we want to give it all because we have to leave some for allocations. That's why we couldn't just tell the orgs all the money would go to the fund, because we have to ensure that there's still allocations for next year. So
I think Kainat said at the last meeting that there shouldn't be any issue with allocations if the scenario is that all student orgs decide to give all their money to the fund. That because allocations hasn't been touched this semester, that it wouldn't neither benefit nor be a harm to the allocations fund for next semester.
Yeah, allocations has like 95,000. I don't see this being an issue. Like if all student orgs decide to give all their money to the fund.
Cool. So I think where the confusion might be coming from like from student orgs, as Sabrina mentioned, is the question of whether or not they get to keep their money or does it get rolled over. So I think as soon as we get the answer out to student organizations, the sooner we'll get donations from student organizations. So we'll send out hopefully a more clarity. We'll send out clarity to the student org so that they can quickly make their decisions and donate their funds. But it looks like if we say to student orgs that, hey, like the money is not going to roll over, so it's either going to go to allocations or you can donate it to the fund, there's a possibility they might lean towards donating the fund.
Yeah, that makes sense.
If we tell them that they're not keeping their money, but if they are keeping their money, then they might be a little bit more hesitant.
Yeah, I think the responses are going to be a little biased in the sense that like the orgs who did a lot are going to say, no, let's not do that. And then the orgs who didn't do much in the early semester are going to say, oh, let's keep our money. So I think those responses are going to be biased based on which organizations did what and like how much. So I think, there's going to be a disparity if we do give all the funds remaining over, because the orgs who did a lot will kind of be not punished, but the orgs who didn't do much yet will be rewarded for really not doing much. They'll have like a head start.
Can we get like a straw poll? Like, what does everyone else feel? Like, does everyone lean towards telling orgs not for their funds to be rolled over, or should we tell them that there is a possibility that they could be rolled over?
I think we shouldn't tell them, just because like if we tell them they're going to be rolled over, they're not going to want to donate their money, because like why wouldn't they want extra money for their fund?
Yeah, that just from a logistical sense for sure. And then just it'll create a disparity if it does in fact roll over, because you'll be giving a head start to people who to organizations that didn't do much this semester. And it's not that they'll be getting a head start, it's just that the orgs who did a lot will be behind everyone else because they did more.
And on top of that, it's student fee money that was from students who are, like attending this year. So graduating seniors are also contributing to that. So student fee money is used in the year that students are paying that money, or the semester that students are paying that money. So I think it shouldn't be rolled over, especially if we do need money for the fund.
Perfect. It looks like we're all in the same page. So I think what we have to do next is, once we get the responses from student orgs, we would basically have to like play it by ear. Like we would, if they're okay with us not rolling over, that's perfect, and it makes our lives easier for getting more funds to the emergency relief fund. If
Yeah.
they're not too happy with that idea, I think we have to, given that we are like a bunch of people, like we have to start like talking to our people in student organizations and telling them, hey, like this is like why this is important and stuff. So like
Right.
we want to make them, I guess we want them to understand like why this is important and stuff like that. Like this is.
I mean, it's going to be obvious though, like when the orgs that still have a very high balance, are going to be happy about the idea of it rolling over. I mean, that's just going to happen. The organizations with a high amount of money left because they didn't spend it, of course they're going to say, please, like roll it over to us. But I think constitutionally, like it's not like something that they have to be okay with. It's normally it goes into allocations. That's just how it works, and really just providing another option to give it to the fund because of the situation.
I think that like we know they won't be happy with rollovers, but that's how it's always been. Like it always goes to allocation, so it's nothing new for them. But
They
if
can
we
still use
want,
it. Yeah.
yeah, but if we want, we can incentivize putting money into the SGA fund by like telling them that if we will re-tier, like we can add a certain amount. Like in the bottom of the tiering section, we have the part about contributing funds or donating anything. We can add that in.
Now, would this also like create like an issue with like what Dylan brought up earlier? Like orgs that haven't used their money would have a advantage in giving their money to the fund, whereas
Yeah,
orgs that
I think
have
that might make it another disparity.
Yeah.
Like it'll be a lesser disparity, but I think it's still a disparity. I think really, the option that makes the most sense is just allocations as usual, or you have the option to put it in the fund. I mean, it just makes the most sense and
Yeah.
it's the most equitable.
I'm agreeing with Dylan on this, and I think if you open up the idea of it possibly rolling over and then closing it up again and saying, "Oh, but we decided it's not going to roll over," I think that'll cause more issues than just saying, "Hey, listen, the money isn't going to roll over." So you have the option of either contributing it to this relief fund, that's gonna help students who need it during this time, or you can keep the money in your account, but it's going to roll over into allocations for next year. Because technically, that's still money that's available for anybody that like is any orgs that are requesting it the next semester. But I don't think it's a good idea to open it up and say, like, do you want the money to roll over? Because obviously, every student organization wants more money in their account.
I think my only concern for student orgs is that like how are the new orgs going to be tiered for next semester? Because I know we decided that like already existing orgs are going to be tiered like the same tier that they got this semester. But what about like the new ones that barely got any money?
So at least
So
from
they would be. Oh, my bad. Go ahead, Harris.
Oh, you're okay. I'm sure we were gonna say the same note, but at least from what the SOIS committee was discussing with Deep
Yeah.
Head, I believe, is that they're just all going to be established orgs with the lowest tier.
Which is 4.
Okay.
Yeah, so they'll be getting a lot more funding than what they had. But
Than this
that also,
semester,
if we do the rollover to them, those orgs will have no head start at all. Like because
Right. Yeah.
they only had $200, so really
Mhm.
it'll create an even bigger disparity for them. I think there's a lot of things that we could really do. I mean, there's a lot. We could tell them donate so much, and then we'll match half of that, and you can let that roll over. We could do incentives with points of donating, but I think overall, just to like reduce the risk of a disparity and really reduce the risk of error, because this will create a lot of back end work. I think it should just be allocations for the fund.
Back to the discussion about the orgs that haven't been recognized yet. I think when we discussed it last time, I also brought this up, but I don't think it would be fair to just give them a tier right away. I think that they should be put back into provisional status and have the same opportunity to prove themselves or do the events and all of that.
I guess it's up to student life, right?
Yeah.
OSLL. I mean, whatever status they're given, we got to work with it.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. It's not our jurisdiction to whether or not recognize orgs, but it's just to allocate funds based on like what they've done.
Yeah.
Hi everyone, this is Dean Pandit. So I just wanted to say in regards to new student groups, we will be having them sort of do an exit interview and a presentation along with it. from what we've seen, a lot of our new student groups have done some exceptional work in the beginning of the semester, and then they've continued through out using social media and other strategies. So we don't, I mean, this situation is not their fault, and we don't want to kind of, penalize them for that reason. So whatever decision is being made is going to be inclusive of the SOIS committee. SOIS committee is going to be part of those exit interviews. So we will be making a decision altogether, basically.
Okay, so there'll be like a screening process to see if they'll get like recognition status.
Absolutely.
Okay, yeah. So I mean, yeah, all right, that's fair. And then whatever happens, we'll make work at that point.
Yeah, and I wasn't thinking. I mean, I think they will be placed on the lowest tier, even if they go forward, because there is nothing to basically, I guess, tier them in terms of what they've done through the spring semester. So they will be placed on the bottom tier, but we still want to go ahead with the recognition. And then they will have the fall semester to really, kind of get tiered for spring.
Yeah, I think that makes the most sense. If they get their recognition status, then they get tier 4, and that's already a big jump in their funding, and they're brand new, and then allocations is open. So I think that's fine, and the disparity won't be there of giving orgs. If they have 1,000 left in their balance, so they won't really be like behind. I think that's a good thing. So it depends on them getting their recognition status. What do you mean, Akwe? Could you speak up like on the mic? Is your mic working?
So I'm hearing that like the disparity would be based on like the amount of money that orgs give, but I think it would be better to like do away with that disparity if like the orgs are given based on the percentage of money that they have in their coffers and not like the amount of money that they're giving. So like we wouldn't have a disparity over there because at the end of the day they're donating based on percentages and not like the amount of money that they're giving out.
Oh no,
Does
like
that make
okay, so let
sense?
me clarify. Like the disparity isn't based on like how much orgs are able to donate to the fund. I mean, obviously some can donate a lot more if they want to, right? The
Right.
disparity is if we say, okay, all the funds you have remaining, you can keep it for the next semester. The disparity lies in orgs having spent a lot and they won't get like really anything. And then the orgs who haven't done much will get, a lot extra because they didn't spend it this semester. So the disparity
Okay.
lies in the potential of like the funding difference between like who gets what left over, not in the sense of donating to the fund.
Okay. Okay. Got it.
Yeah,
Thank you.
sorry, like I guess that wasn't clear. I think there's also maybe confusion like with the term rollover because we use that in the past to say money rolls over to allocations. So yeah, just to clarify, we're talking about rolling over to orgs and rolling over to allocations. So I mean, that's kind of like a miscommunication.
Got it.
But seems like new orgs are good. Do you have anything else, Ricky?
No, I was just gonna say because I think Dean Williams said that she had a update.
Okay, cool. So if we're good on this, then yes, please, Dean Williams, talk about the COVID-19 grants.
Okay. So I don't know how many of you actually have heard that the Secretary of Higher Education announced recently that there would be grants given for universities across the nation who were experiencing, as you all know, experiencing a lot of financial duress because of COVID-19. And so the federal government is actually issuing out, I forgot the exact amount. I sent the press release actually to Harrison, did I send you that press release? I think I sent it.
Yeah, I remember because I got the NJIT email, and then I asked you about it, and you mentioned that you bring it up at this meeting. I
Yes.
don't know if you attached the full release though.
Yeah, I can find it and send it. If someone else wants to Google, it's in the news. But essentially, what does that mean for What does that mean for Rutgers University Newark students? So I wanted to just reiterate that number one, emergency funding is coming. So it is on the way from the federal government. It's going to come directly to our institution. It's going to actually come into Rutgers University. So as you know, we are part of a system-wide network. And so Rutgers Newark and Rutgers Camden are going to be working with New Brunswick to determine the distribution of the aid that we get from the federal government. The Chancellor's Office is currently seeking clarification about the funding allocation and how it can be used. So, you know, I think President Bloom over at NJIT said something very similar in terms of getting more information next week about how the funds could be awarded accordance with the federal law. So essentially, students should continue to send their requests for emergency assistance to the care team. And like I mentioned, so far we've given out over 40K in emergency assistance. And that is in addition to also giving out laptops and Wi-Fi hotspots. And so the Chancellor's Office is going to be issuing a statement as soon as possible on the expenditures of the federally allocated emergency funds. So that's where we are right now. Any questions about that? And thank you, Harrison, for giving the link to the article.
Yeah, sorry about that. I just found it in the email.
Problem. That's all I had.
Great. Just a quick question, and this is kind of a little off topic from what we're talking about, but this was from someone that had asked us in our SGA account. It's in regards to the refunds, and they set up their direct deposit and all, but they're also wondering is there like a timetable for that? For like when refunds are supposed to get back? I wasn't sure how to respond back to them, so I was just like, we'll ask and see. I don't know.
Let me try to find the frequently asked questions that are actually located on, I think it's called the ABC account. Let me see if it's up yet. I will put the link into the chat with that information because I believe that there is yes, here they are. It's on the studentabc.rutgers.edu. There is a list of frequently asked questions, and I believe the question around how much time will be used to process those refunds is located on that question list.
Perfect.
And I'm putting the link in right now.
Awesome. So yeah, when we're moving forward, we're gonna have to advertise kind of encourage people to set up their direct deposit. So I'm gonna follow up with program board to see if they want to contribute. Senators, you can figure out amongst your pairs what you want to do, and then we'll just wait to hear back from Orgs. Right, Ricky?
Sorry, you got cut up on the last part. What was it?
So yeah, we're just gonna wait to hear back from orgs on their part. I'm gonna follow up with program board, but we'll just wait to hear back.
Oh yeah, that was the other question. Wait, so is program board creating their own fund as well, or would they be donating to this emergency relief fund?
It'd be just like nonsensical to make a separate fund. So I'm just gonna figure out where they're at in their financial situation, and just encourage them to contribute what they can. I don't know what they have left over. I don't know their finances.
Gotcha.
But yeah. So I'm just gonna follow up with them. Is there anything else?
So I mean, in terms of the email and what we're going to send out to student organizations, I know we had a couple people discussing about what to do. Could we just I think there's a hand raising functionality. Just whoever's in favor of just saying that SGA has decided that student organization funds will not roll over to the fall semester. We just see a hand count for that.
Maybe we could do this in Slack because people who dialed in can't do that.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Oh yeah, I don't see the option. Does this have it? I know Zoom does. I don't see it here.
At least participants.
Okay, all right. So I'll go in the after this. We can make two like messages in the Slack, and then people can thumbs up the two separate.
Okay, sounds good.
But now is everyone on Slack?
Yeah, everyone should be on Slack. If you're not, for whatever reason, you can find the information in the agenda.
Yeah, it just seems that like every time I hit add channel, there's always people that it
I
says
think
that their
it's
account has
easier
been
if we just
finalized.
leave it. So Harrison, if you want to do it again, and then in the chat you could just put I if you agree with what Harrison
All right,
said.
yeah, I mean,
So that we just get it over with now. We don't have to worry about doing it later.
Okay, so anyone who's in favor of telling student organizations that they cannot roll their funds over to fall semester next year. And provided that we do get like a good majority of individuals, then that's what we'll send out. I believe like Dean Williams had sent us communication about the email, so we're just gonna correct a couple of those mispoints that we got, and then we'll send that out along with the survey, hopefully.
And let me know if you want myself and Dean Penn to look over that again just to make sure everything is clear. I will say that so right now you all are voting to say basically that student orgs funds do not roll over to the next semester, correct?
That is correct, yes.
Okay.
So they would go to allocations with the choice for the fund.
Correct. Okay. I just wanted to be clear on that. And so when students, I don't know if all students at this point understand what allocations is, but it does mean that essentially they can apply in the fall for any funds that are in the allocations. So it's really, up to them how obviously what they want to do. But I would ask that we give clear deadlines, because on an accounting side, it does take quite a bit of time to distinguish between what funds roll over and what funds will be used for the emergency fund. So just make sure that we clarify those 2 points.
So I'm sorry, when you say deadlines, what are you referring to? Deadlines to contribute to the emergency relief funds?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, and we will send the revised email over shortly, hopefully. And yeah, we do have a dial-in. So just if you are calling in on cell, like, what do you think about this?
Could you repeat that for everyone?
We do. Someone messaged in the chat. I noticed that we do have a person who's calling in right now. If they want, I think most everyone voted in terms of whether or not they want to tell student organizations that we will not be rolling funds over to fall semester. But just so that everyone has a chance to express their opinion, if you're calling in, please speak. Okay.
So I think it's kind of an informal vote, but it passes. For sure.
Yeah.
Just
so the
it's
SOIS
clear.
committee, I'll talk with Ricky and the other members, and we'll move forward with just saying that they're restricted to those two options, either allocations or donating to the fund.
Okay, awesome. If for the sake of time, Anna's requested that we skip ahead to what she had proposed to me, just because of like the time. So Anna, if you want to take the floor about the spa updates and Raven, go right ahead.
Yeah, sure. Hey, everyone. I hope everybody's doing well. Can everybody hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
So, in perspective of student academics, the last meeting we had an intense discussion of students learning environment and how it's studying, how it's affecting their ability to learn. Moreover, we discussed the workload placed on students at this time. And most of us can agree that professors were definitely not trained for this condition, but neither were we. However, students' mental health and grades, of course, are at stake as we speak right now. We did suggest that students reach out to professors personally and seek accommodations such as extension. But I believe what students are seeking is better permanent solutions to better their studies. We have to recognize that students register for their classes for various reasons, including the interest of learning the course. So I met with Dean Manifield about this April 8th at 3 p.m. And we discussed the academic circumstances of SPA students. He mentioned his awareness of students who are struggling to take classes online due to lack of resources like laptop and the internet. He also mentioned that he had a meeting with the professors, checking up on them, their well-being, of course, but also indirectly requesting them to take it easy on their respective students. After our discussion about students struggling to learn due to the workload given to the students in the environments where we are right now, he immediately sent out an email to professors directly requesting modifications to the schedules. Also, SPA is holding up a town hall meeting for students and faculty and administration together April 14th on WebEx from 5 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. We believe that having conversation is a better media to understand what students are going through and how professors, can accommodate by the students speaking up for themselves. There will also be a survey that I'll be conducting. I'll be sending out to specifically SPA students. I don't mind sharing it with y'all. And what we're trying to do is access and accommodate all student voices, because if some students cannot speak at the town hall meeting because the time is very limited, they will still be able to express themselves through the survey. And lastly, I am meeting with the Director of Public Engagement and the Dean today. After this meeting, um, I'm following up concerning Professor's response to the email he sent about modification of the schedules, and also preparing for the town hall meeting happening tomorrow. So that is all the updates I have for SPA students with academics. Does anybody have any questions?
As a fellow SPA student, thank you.
You're welcome. Does anybody else have any questions? Okay, so moving forward, I can't see the chat. So if you're texting the chat, I really can't see it. But moving forward, I also had a meeting with the Braven head of director. I hope I'm saying this right. Her name is Angie. And we had a discussion of especially graduating seniors who are concerned about job search, because regardless of the condition, we're still graduating. I know many people are graduating because they want to better their financial situation. So we're looking at it from graduating students facing this problem of jobs that are closed down, or jobs just not accommodating workers or new workers right now, or just simply not knowing how to search for jobs in this pandemic. So I had a discussion with the head of director of Raven, and we had a really, really good talk. But I also want to open the platform for her to have a presentation of what Raven is planning to do to accommodate especially graduate students on job search, but also all students, all class, of course, are invited. But my biggest concern is graduating students currently um, thinking of what is next in their career. So Angie, if you'd like to unmute yourself and have the floor.
Yes. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Hi, Anna. Thank you so much
Hi.
for having me here. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for having me here. Like Anna said, I'm Angie Bryce Thomas. I'm the head of recruitment and program operations at Braven. As you guys might know, if you're familiar with Braven, we work very closely with the CDC, and so we partner very closely with them. And Anna and I had a great conversation last week, and she invited me to come present for a few minutes. I'll just go ahead and share briefly about Braven for those of you who may not know them. My guess is some of you may have already heard about Braven if you haven't taken the class already. But essentially, Braven ensures that whether you are the first in your family to go to college or the fifth in your family to go to college, you're equipped with the networks, the confidence, and the skills that you need to be on a path to land a great job after you graduate. I myself, as a first generation American and a first generation college student, I wish there was a program like Braven when I was in college. And so we've been at Rutgers, like I said, for a number of years, and we work very closely with Bernadetto and her team at the CDC. But essentially, the reason why I wanted to present briefly is because given the impact of COVID-19 on our economy, we're already beginning to see the impact that it's going to have and the jobs that are available. And so if you are a senior, this could be a great opportunity for you, though certainly this is your last semester of college. I'm going to send out more information about Braven so that Anna and others can share. But essentially, if you know of sophomores, juniors, anybody who's a second semester freshman to a first semester senior, or mostly sophomores and juniors who could be great for this class, given that registration for fall classes is opening up this Friday, April 17th. This will be a great opportunity for them to take the Braven course. So, it is a 3 credit elective course. It is fully online. Before COVID 19, 80% of the class was already online. And so, after COVID 19, given that our content was already designed to be online, while I know that some of us are nervous about online classes, the way that the classes is set up, the students who take the course really, really enjoy it. We provide you with the laptop you need, the MiFi that you need. So I'm so excited to hear the things that the university is doing to ensure that students get what they need. But in the Braven course, we ensure that you have the things that you need to take the class and do well. It is registered under HLLC special topics, so you don't have to be an HLLC scholar to take the class, but it is currently listed under HLLC special topics too. And so some of the things that you do is prep the A+ resume, the cover letter. We have set up virtual interviews with companies like Prudential, Facebook, Google, Audible. We partner with a number of companies across the country. And one of the things that we're ensuring right now is that our companies continue to hold spots for internships and full-time jobs for Braven students. And so if you're a graduating senior and you're concerned about yourself, please reach out to us via the blurb that we'll send out through Anna. And if you know of underclassmen in your organizations who are interested in the class, this would be a great class for them to take. Like I said, we ensure that students are set up with the skills and the networks that they need and the confidence. And we're already starting to see the impact of COVID-19 on the economy. And so what we do is ensure that we are taking care of our students. And we're very grateful to be working in such close partnership with the CDC. So again, registration opens this Friday, April 17th. I know that fall classes may not be on all of our minds, and yet this could be a great class for you to consider taking if you're not a graduating senior. But if you're a graduating senior, still sign up to learn more because we want to partner with you to ensure that you have what you need. We're offering a Braven Booster class, which is basically our entire 15-week class condensed in like 5 to 6 weeks. And so if you're a graduating senior, this could be a great thing for you to sign up for so we can ensure that you have polished your resume and is set up to thrive. So thanks again, Anna. I don't know if I can take questions, but I want to give it back over to you. And thanks again for letting us present briefly.
Yeah, of course. Does anybody have any questions for Anji? Any questions? Going once? Okay.
No questions here.
All right, awesome.
Sounds great.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Anji. And thank you, Dylan, for pushing this up.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. It's awesome. I'm glad to hear all this. Is any like if there's is there anything else? Otherwise we gotta.
Oh, yeah, no, we can move on. That's all.
Okay. Thank you so much, Anna.
No problem.
Let's see. So we are, I guess we're settled on the funding for the orgs, and just waiting back to hear like more from the orgs themselves. And the emergency fund, is there anything else about that? Okay, cool. So Harrison, you want to just go in and talk about like the legacy questions?
Yeah, so I mean, I'm not the head of this committee, but I remember last meeting we brought up the legacy questions, and it's completely devastating that we only have a couple meetings left. But one of the things that we did bring up was and bringing up the need for a transition committee, was how do we ensure that all senators coming in and all new members coming in are adequately prepared to serve on SGA. So last week we sent out the legacy questionnaire on Google Drive, and like if you guys have not already, please make a copy of that Google Drive document and share that with transition.runsga@gmail.com. I'm putting that in the chat. It's also in the Slack as well, for anyone, hopefully everyone who's on that. So if you guys could please submit that by, let's say, Wednesday, that would be fantastic.
Yeah, and just make sure everyone has the doc shared. So just copy all the text, put it in a new doc, and then download as PDF and then email it.
Yeah, I just want to like emphasize maybe other members of the committee can speak a bit more to this. But like this it's called legacy questions because this is what we're passing on to the next people who are serving on SGA, right? And like everyone has done some incredible work this year working on all of these different initiatives and all these different events. And I think another goal of the transitioning committee, besides helping to bring new senators in, is also to like introduce and like remember like the work that you guys and all of us have done this year. So please fill that out to the best of your ability and help share your experience with incoming senators.
Just to go off of what Harrison said, I think there was a consensus this year with the senators that a lot of us, went into the positions that we were in without really knowing how to navigate through, or the people that we should talk to, or the things and initiatives that we should be working on. And with the people that were in the positions before us, there was kind of like a disconnect of what they did, and if we should be continuing the work that they started. So the idea behind these questions and the committee in itself is to make sure that all the people that come after us can have like kind of a directory of what has been done, the people that they should contact, and initiatives that people worked on, and if they want to continue it for next year. So I think it's super imperative that we see that all senators essentially and everyone fill out the legacy questions, and especially like contact information, so we can have future senators or e-board members contact them in case anything is needed, or like if they need any other help, and something similar to that.
All right, thank you. Just make sure you send the PDF to transition.runsga@gmail.com by Wednesday, 11:59. Just please try and get that done. And I think we can move to the next item on the agenda. Thank you, Dylan.
All right, cool. So I did just get an update from Program Board. They're saying they'll definitely contribute to our fund, just like they're still coming up with the number because they want to ensure sustainability for next semester. So we'll just wait to hear back from them. So the next thing is the NJ Perg announcement. Jen, are you here?
Oh, yes, I am.
All right, the floor is yours.
Everyone here? Oh, okay, awesome. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for letting me hop on your call. I really appreciate it. I just wanted to chat about a couple opportunities we have coming up to co-sponsor some virtual events together and still be involved. So the one event that we're wanting to do is actually around COVID-19 and taking some action with it. So we're actually wanting to have an event where we write letters to the editor, specifically urging the government to use the Defense Production Act to rank up supply of ventilators, and also urging manufacturers to release manufacturing information so that people can fix ventilators really quickly. This is one of the biggest issues we've seen, obviously in New Jersey, New York, a lot of states that have a lot of COVID-19 cases. Letters to the editor, the reason why we're focusing on this is really to get media attention. This is still one of the most widely read parts of any newspaper, and also just really quick and easy. It's about 150 words, does not take much time at all. It's just really accessible way for average citizens to get their voices heard. So really what this would look like is kind of like a launch call where I do a quick how-to, how to write letters to the editor, and then we would just have like a work block where people would work on their letter and then submit them, supply all the information, who to email. And luckily, what's really great about this is because obviously all news outlets are really focusing on COVID-19, you would be able to submit the same letter to multiple editors. So the chances of it getting published is a lot more likely. So that's the first option. And then the second event idea that we're trying to get going is next Wednesday is Earth Day. And originally there was like big plans to have a march and all those lovely things that we can't do anymore. But it's okay because we're still going to make change happen. And it's really, really exciting because actually this year is the 50th anniversary of Earth Day. So it's, just that much more important. So what we're wanting to do is actually have a social media event. So getting students to take pictures with a sign, like saying why they love the earth, like maybe what their favorite bit about it is. So I can say right now, my sign will say something like, my favorite thing is animals, to be honest. Like that's what I'm all about, and wildlife. And just post it on their social media pages with the hashtag Virtual Earth Day 2020. And we just want to get as many students involved as possible. So we're already got interest from MAPS and College Dems who want to co-sponsor on these events. And it would be great if SGAs also wanted to get involved. That way we can reach as many students as possible. I also know that now with everything moving virtual, there's not as many opportunities for students to get involved in a lot of things. So this way it also just helps us connect with each other and have some semblance of human connection, I guess. So yeah, I just kind of wanted to pose those two event ideas to you and find out if you are interested in co-sponsoring them and getting involved before I send out more information. And then I'm also going to include a link in the chat. Just in general, the student perks across the country are doing a lot of work around COVID-19, a lot of responses. So if you follow that link, you'll see there's a ton of petitions. You guys can, take a few minutes to sign right now and just find out more information on what we're working on. And if there's obviously anything else that sparks your interest that you'd like to co-sponsor, any other events, let me know. But yeah, that's pretty much my main announcement. Are there any questions?
I guess there are no questions. I mean, that all sounds great. I think we'll just have to like look over everything and get back to you. But I think, there's definitely a void there where students can't get involved. So I think we'll definitely be involved somehow. So we'll have to look over everything and get back to you.
Awesome. That sounds great. Yeah. So let me know what you're thinking. I will send out the flyer with the specific information. And I look forward to having some of you guys involved.
All right, cool. Yeah, for sure. Does anyone else have anything to say about it?
Thank you so much, Jen.
All right, I guess that's it. Thank you, Jen.
Yeah.
So okay, then we've gone through everything in our agenda. So if you have any other updates, go for it. I did want to bring one thing up that some students have mentioned to me. There's a petition going around, just asking Rutgers to like give A's to everyone automatically. I mean, I don't think that's just not realistic for Rutgers to do. But in the petition, it mentions that like Harvard has some system where they're like matching people's grades with A's to kind of like, so their GPA doesn't get weighted out. So that's just something, I thought we could bring up. I don't know how true it is, but it's in the petition. It mentions it, that other campuses are picking up that method. So I thought it'd be interesting to talk about. It seemed like you get your grades, and then for every grade you get an additional A, and it would like help weight your GPA up so it wouldn't go down. Like they're not automatically giving you A's, but they would give you like additional A's to make sure your GPA doesn't fall.
To be honest, that seems like a very odd way of doing grade inflation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like because I mean
like,
when
it's a
when it
good
was,
idea. Like it would definitely help students, but like at the same time, like realistically speaking, like why would they provide you with a grade that you didn't get? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I thought the pass fail was good. I just want to bring it up because some people, brought it up to me, and I didn't know about
Yeah.
it, and I was surprised that they're doing this. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, it
I
just
know a lot of
doesn't
people have been
seem.
sharing that too, but because they're like, oh, we want all A's for the semester, like not only pass or fail.
Yeah, so they're not just giving you A's for your classes, but whatever grade you get an A to match it to kind of like weight up your GPA. So if you get an F, you get an A to hold it at like a C. I don't know, it's weird. Because I told one of them like I don't know if it's realistic because like Rutgers wouldn't I don't know want to like devalue like their credibility I guess in the sense of grading, but if
Yeah.
Harvard's doing this, that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, I think the only way to probably understand this is that like everyone is going through this. Like I don't know if like maybe like if Harvard is doing this, they're not looking at it as a worry of like being devalued from their education because everyone's going through this in one way or another. And I can see like the argument of like giving everyone an A because while pass or fail is a very good option and a very generous option, like it's there's like other factors like that may like interfere in one's education, especially in like being in house all day or almost all day and like not being able to access to basic necessities like not only internet but like a decent connection to internet or technology and stuff like that. And like we've seen that Rutgers has done so far a good job in like supplementing that, but there's still probably other shortcomings where like this can be justified. So I see where they're coming from. Whether we get it or not is probably not likely. But it's something maybe there's something in the middle that might be worth striving for. But I wouldn't know what that middle is unless
Because like
anyone
yeah, they're
knows.
trying to get some kind of middle in the sense right students are like just give us A's for all our classes, but they're saying okay, you get your grades whatever you get and then we match it with A's. Dean Williams, have you heard about like this method? Because I don't know if like apparently other campuses are picking up on it, but probably not around here.
I have not heard about this method, and just as my own personal opinion, I would say that higher education has a reputation for trying to maintain a certain level of integrity, and I think grade inflation is a big problem across the board. And I know that Rutgers is really rigorous in terms of the way in which they try to maintain a certain standard, and so I'm not sure what other universities are doing. I haven't heard that about other universities. In fact, I'm in a doctoral student in Columbia, and I have heard nothing to that effect. So it would be interesting to see if there are talks about this in different institutions. But as far as I can see, especially in the New Jersey network, there has been nothing to that effect discussed.
Gotcha. Yeah, I just wanted to bring it up and see like what we knew about it. It was interesting because the argument was like, well, if Harvard's doing it, why can't Rutgers do it? It's like, oh, I don't know what to say to that. Are there any other updates anyone wants to talk about before we adjourn?
Yeah, I think this is like an important one that we keep mentioning, and I feel like it gets like not pushed over, but like like it's just something that like updating the Constitution and stuff like that, adding the necessary amendment that needs to be added. So I was just wondering, like Dylan, is there any way that we can like get this started and like set up a committee to do this because like it's I think it's important to like at least have this done, with the remaining
Yeah.
meetings that we have left.
Now
Getting
that
these,
the election is over, I think we can all kind of not we can all be kind of impartial about it. Just kind of involve everyone who wants to be involved. I think we need this before next semester just because it's been too long, I guess. So I don't know. I saw someone maybe in the drive like looking at older resolutions and things. Maybe someone was compiling stuff. I don't know. But yeah, we can definitely get a move on this now.
Yeah, that was me because I was trying to look for the like judicial amendment that was voted on like what 3 years
So
ago.
we're gonna
So
have to make some kind of like list and say, okay, what was actually passed as an amendment and everything else, what like this is temporary resolution or it was just a resolution. That's not included. Obviously, we should still compile them and make some kind of folder with that stuff, but we need to know like what exactly was an amendment and then just add it in and then have everyone look over it and see if it was done properly.
I mean, right now, like, do you know where all these files are, or is it just are we just relying on Drive?
Somehow everything is in the drive and it goes back years. So like we're going back to 2015, really. So the stuff's just in there. Thank you, Anna. We appreciate you. Gotcha. Yeah, so it's just a matter of going back to 2015 and finding everything, how like previous SGAs, from even 2013, 2014 have like dumped stuff in.
But one thing I noticed on the judicial, like when I was looking over the files, it didn't look like it was finalized. I don't know if by any chance, because I know the amendment was on the ballot back in spring 2017. So D Williams, I don't know if by any chance is there any way we can access that ballot, so that because I think on that ballot it spelled out exactly what the amendment is and how it would look like on the Constitution if it was
You're
voted
referring
in.
to the Judicial Committee, correct?
Yeah, the Judicial Committee. Yeah, that amendment.
Yeah, I can just copy and paste it and send it to you all. Who should receive that?
I mean, do we want to form this now? Who wants to be part of this committee?
I'm definitely. I'll be part of it.
Anyone in the Senate interested?
Ricky, could you form a Slack channel?
Yeah, I can form a Slack channel and then see okay, yeah, I can form a Slack channel. Awesome. Thanks, Lauren. Yeah, we'll form a Slack channel. Dylan, if I think Dean Williams, I think that we'll send you something soon to see who to contact and where to send all this information.
Okay. I see Harrison, Lauren, Dylan, Ricky. Ricky, are you on it?
Yeah, I'm on it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll be on it. And yeah, I think we have what 4 weeks, 3 weeks before the semester ends. We want to make sure that gets done.
Yeah, I think this now we can kind of shift this to like one of our main focuses now that like the fund's set up, and really it's just a matter of monitoring it and really nurturing it. So now this can be our main like initiative.
D. Williams, by any chance, was there anything else that was also added, if you know by any chance, from prior years that also needs to get added other than the judicial amendment?
Nope, that's the only amendment that was actually passed. Everything else was either a temporary referendum or a referendum, which would not be included in your bylaws.
Now, also, what now looking into the Constitution and seeing that like maybe there's some like let's say we look into the Constitution and we see something that we want to like kind of change in the bylaws, would there be any opportunity for this committee to do that?
I would have to look at the Constitution on what that process is in this case, because I think there is an expectation around certain amendments that have to be voted on by the student body.
We're just gonna have to like any kind of changes that we just decide on, Ricky. We're gonna have to bring up for a vote in a virtual meeting. But I think obviously everything that says NCAS, we just have to rename it to SASN, and that's one of the main things.
Would we be able to do that, or would that also be a student body election to do so? I think that's what I mean. So like if we like change the names and stuff like that, would that be within bounds of what we can do, what we can and what we cannot do?
Yes. So anything related to like updating according to the university. So like the university has decided to change the name of NCAS to SASN. That would be something that you all can do because essentially it was a university decision that you're just reflecting as accurate in the Constitution. I think when it comes to removing, say for instance, you all wanted to remove, which has come up in past conversations, the university college senator position, that would have to be something that you all would have to have a vote about, simply because now you're changing an entire position, right? So let's look at the Constitution right now. Maybe we can start off with actually reviewing what the Constitution says. Where are the questions at? What does the process that's outlined, and then take it from there.
What are we allowed, like what can be done without with just like a 2/3 vote, if anything, from the Senate? Is there anything, or does any change have to be done on a referendum?
So that's what I'm confused too, because on like the beginning part with the articles, it says amendments need to be passed by the student body, but then the what do you call it, the bylaws, when we add bylaws to the Constitution, that's within our bounds to do so. But it's confusing because it doesn't really like paint where does the bylaws begin and where does the Constitution end or begin, because if that's the case, why was judicial considered why was the judicial amendment considered an amendment, because it falls in the bylaws section. So like that whole part is very confusing.
Yeah.
Navigating the Constitution.
I mean, that's a good point, because I don't know. Like, I mean, if we're going to be making all these changes, and we're forced to like do a referendum, it's just going to be like, I don't know, it's just going to be dumb. We're going to have to wait a long time, and then you're only going to have like 100 votes in it. I don't know. It's just going to be weird. So we got to kind of really assess this.
So just for anyone that's like, if they need a pinpoint somewhere, I'm referring to the page 4, Article 6 amendments, which says that the charter may be amended through a simple majority of students voting in any regular election and upon ratification by the Dean of Student Life. But then the next article, bylaws, which by the way, it says it's 2 Article 7s. It says that the legislative branch may pass such bylaws to this charter as it shall from time to time deem necessary and proper for the implementation of the charter. So that's like super vague. So like, I mean, technically, like there's a lot of stuff in the Constitution where it is deemed necessary for us to fix and to add.
Yeah, so that's a big confusion. We're gonna have to look at that. I think if it comes down to it, and we hold like a special referendum, I don't think, you know, something won't pass. So, but I think
So I guess that's another question too. Like if like, let's say like our committee, like we work on this for this week, and then like we present something to you, Dean Williams. Like would that be viable to call a special, if that's what we need to do? Like do we have to call, in this case, like a special student body election to amend the Constitution and to work on it?
So I just want to be clear about what constitutes the charter and what constitutes the bylaws. So if you're looking at the Constitution right now, you'll notice that the first, what is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Ooh, there's definitely a typo there. It says 7, but it should be 8. The first 8 articles are the charter, right? And so if you want to amend the charter, then yes, it has to be a vote, a 2/3 affirmative vote by the student body in a special election. Bylaws can be amended by a I think it's 2/3 vote within the Senate. I will say that I think, and I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure at the time, the reason why the judicial branch was put into the elections 2 years ago was because it does add a legislative branch into the charter. So right now, you'll notice that the charter only references the executive and the Senate. It does not reference the judicial. So in order for that to be incorporated, you had to have a special election.
Gotcha. So basically anything below the bylaws of the Student Governing Association, that's within our bounds to I guess make changes, I guess, right?
Correct.
Okay.
All right, and if we hold a special election, I mean, because this is an overhaul for the first time in 5 years, really.
But now, are you saying that if any of the changes that we make in the bylaws affect anything that happens in the charter, that's when it would require an election, right?
Correct.
Okay. Okay.
All right, yeah, I mean, we'll just have to look at it and figure out what we're gonna do. I mean, if we're gonna hold a special election for it on like Rayerlink, and it's not really a big deal, kind of like,
Well, is that viable, Dean Williams? Can we do that?
I would not recommend that. The reason being is that it's better to incorporate a change in the charter into an election that's already in existence. So I would recommend either having it included in the fall election, or if it's a significant overhaul, then waiting until the spring election. Otherwise, I don't see SGA actually getting a significant amount of votes. I mean, I think in terms of the voting for a spring elections, which is the most popular election, you only get about 8 to 10% of the actual undergraduate student body. So I think to be, really inclusive, you would I would advise waiting until an actual election.
Wait, can you clarify this part right here on section 2, under the amendments where it says this charter is dissolvable only by 2/3 affirmative vote of those students voting in a special election. Wait, so does that mean that if 2/3 of the student body vote to dissolve this charter, does that mean we have to start over? What is that?
So to dissolve, so just to be clear, the dissolution of a charter has to do with the functioning of the student government as a whole, right? So, for instance, if you wanted to dissolve the charter and just start the entire constitution, including the charter from scratch, then yes, you would need 2/3 vote of the student body to be able to do that. But in this case, you all are not looking to dissolve your charter. You're actually looking to amend your bylaws. So just so you know, the reason why a charter would be dissolved is at one point, the student government did not function as one unified government. There were governments for each of the undergraduate schools. So SASN had their own government, RBS, etc. So when, and I believe it was in 2015, when each government dissolved their charters and merged into one government, which created this charter. So I don't imagine there would ever be a case where, I don't know, where we would dissolve the student government entirely and then start the entire charter from scratch. I don't know why we would do that, or why you all would, I can't imagine a case where that would happen at this point.
True that. All right. Does anyone else have any other questions?
Lauren just had put something in the chat about Harvard.
Yeah, I texted my friend from Harvard and I asked him about the system, and I put what he said in the chat.
So it's different from our pass fail?
I believe so.
Looks like it, but it doesn't look that far off.
Yeah.
So I think there's definitely some misinformation in the
Right, according to him at least.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for that.
Yep, you're welcome.
But yeah, so Ricky, we'll just make the Slack channel and we'll start focusing on that.
Awesome. So I just want to be sure. So it's Harrison, Lauren, myself. Am I missing anyone else that said that they were interested?
And me, yeah, and that's it.
Yes. Okay. All right. Cool.
Okay, cool. We can adjourn.
A second.
Yeah. All right. I mean, we're past the time. We don't really need a formal adjournment. Yeah. So, all right.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
See you soon.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Take care.